Greek Cypriots will no longer require visas to visit Turkey under a new EU agreement, Ricky Shields reports.
Although Greek Cypriots have long been able to visit Turkey, up to now this has required a separate visa. However, in the framework of the EU-Turkey Agreement on Visa Liberalisation, Greek Cypriots will no longer need visas to go to Turkey, according to Turkish officials. Turkey's cabinet has approved waiving visas for EU citizens, but only once the EU relaxes its visa requirements for Turkish citizens. The move is one of 72 criteria required by Brussels as part of the latest report on progress by Turkey. However, Turkey's government spokesman added that although visas will not be required, this doesn't mean the recognition of Cyprus. If the EU abolishes visas for Turkish citizens, then we will also abolish visas for the remaining EU countries. Our Cyprus government spokesman has mentioned that the visa liberalisation for Turkey needs to meet all the EU requirements, and there are actually 72 criteria just in this section. And of those 72 criteria, there are 5 that still have yet to be met, and these are adopting the measures to prevent corruption, legislation on personal data protection, an operational agreement with Europol, judicial cooperation in criminal matters to all EU member states, revising the legislation and practices on terrorism in line with European standards. Also, there are a further 2 criteria that is agreed won't be met by the June deadline simply because of time constraints, and these are upgrading the existing biometric passports to EU standards and fully implementing the provisions of the EU-Turkey readmission agreement once finally agreed. These are some pretty important outstanding provisions. Corruption, data protection, terrorism, they're pretty crucial, I'd say. So while I and many Greek Cypriots and Europeans will welcome these small incremental changes when they finally come through, there's still concern about Turkish intransigence and of course the lack of recognition of the Republic of Cyprus. How can Turkey recognise the EU but not one of its members? If Turkey wants to join the club, it must follow the club rules. This is Mr. Shields reporting for Rock FM.
On air and online at rockfmcyprus.com.
Today's best mix.
Rock FM.